Hi, welcome to another episode of Coffee Time. So, hope you have your coffee already standing by. Today it's going to be a little different because why don't you just go and get a drink first? Now, today's episode is going to be a little different because I'm going to treat you as my 25-year-old self. So, 25 years old, we just graduated from college, from university, and we don't know what we are going to do in life. Okay. In fact, you don't even know what you want in life until you are in your 30s. So yeah, you're going to spend the next about 10 years wandering around and not sure what you want in life. So if we were to be able to meet in if I were to be able to travel back in time and meet my past self, I would like you to know all of this so that you can shorten your suffering and struggles. So the first advice I would like to give is don't focus on things that much. Focus about improving yourself, learning about yourself, understanding yourself. So the good thing, now that I'm I'm you basically, but just 10 years ahead. I would like to say that you are good at learning things, but learning the right thing isn't the problem. The problem is understanding what you're good at, figuring out your path. Alright, so there'll be a lot of things that you're gonna try, and most of it you're gonna fail. But with every failure, you gain a little wisdom. But there is a better way to do all of this, which is in the second point. Okay. If I were to be able to meet you 10 years ago, I would like to tell you that it's much better to focus on acquiring valuable skills instead of focusing on how much money you can make, instead of focusing on the income part. Because you don't have an income problem, you have a skill problem. It wasn't until you are in your 30s where you start to acquire valuable, marketable skills that people will pay you a good amount for. And right around this time, you were imagining making the amount of money that I'm already making now. But if I were to tell you this in another 3 or 4 or 5 years, you might not believe it. But all turns out well. It's just I wish we don't need to go through all of this. I wish we do not need to put our family through all of this. So yeah, this is not being easy for everybody. So focus on skills. You have to think which skills are very valuable, which skills are not easily replaced, and skills that as you get better, people are willing to pay you 5 times, 10 times as you get better. And you struggled for about 10 years before you were comfortable, before you have a life where you do not need to worry about how am I going to pay the bills next month, how am I going to pay the rent next month. So there's many times where you came close to considering getting coaching. You try to learn a lot of things on your own, but without someone who's been there and done that, it's going to be very hard. And it's not like you didn't try. You tried to attend a few good coaching sessions, but those mentors were not the one that you were looking for. It's hard for you to know who is a good mentor without actually going through them. So I'll say just go ahead, but just be expected to be disappointed with the first few of them. But that's with life. You can't go through. You don't know who your good friends is until you know who your bad friends are, and that's That goes the same for everything. So that is the career advice I would like to give to you. It really doesn't matter what industry you go in. Depending on what industry you go, I might be a different person now. But I guess it's just if you focus on skills instead of income, and you have someone to coach you, you should be fine. So I'm assuming, if you're still watching, I'm assuming you're interested in what I still have to say. So this is for anyone who choose to be a freelancer, who decided early on, just as I decided in my, I think as early as when I was 18 or 19, that I want to be my own boss. I want to build my own business. I want to work for myself. I value freedom more than security. I still do today, alright? So that part of me hasn't changed. So this is an advice I like to give everyone who would like to quit their own job, anyone who would like to be their own boss, be their freelancer, who wants more freedom in their life, more control in their life. If you're starting out, if you're 18, 19, 20, 25, forget about building your own business. Forget about building your own products. Forget about teaching others. All of that actually what I tried to do early on in my career. So this is also part of the things that I wish I could tell my 25-year-old self. Okay, forget about building products. Forget about inventing stuff, even though you are a good inventor. Forget about all of this. It's just not going to work out. Not because of the invention is bad. It's because you do not have the business skills to make the product work, to make the business work. Business is, to make a business successful, to have a successful business, it requires many different skills. All business skills: communication, marketing, leadership. If you are at 25, if I'm back to when I was 25, out of these three I have none. So anything which you invent, it's just not going to work. And it is 100% on you. Because you keep thinking about the product and service, you do not think from the business side. So all your struggles, all the debt you're going to accumulate for me, it's all your fault. Right? So if you're going to start out, I would say don't go and start any business. Instead, work for others, get some relevant experience, get someone who pays you enough. Okay, don't be greedy, just focus on, when you are in the early 20s, I'm just surprised the amount of hardship the amount of uncertainty which I can tolerate. But follow those who are proven to lead, to nurture the next generation, who are good coaches, who give advice, who give advice to you that are very relevant. So I'll just recommend everyone to, if you're not in North America or any first world countries, just start out as a virtual assistant. Trade your time for money. When you just graduated, it's very unlikely you have very valuable, very monetizable skills to offer the marketplace. So during this time, you want to find a position, a job that you can accumulate very, very valuable skills. Okay, so this is what I did in 2018. I got my first long-term client. We worked on a 6-month project. So during that time, he was very, very willing to invest in me. He paid me quite well. Better than what I deserve, to be honest. He paid me very, very well. I used the time to, I want him to get his money's worth. So I constantly go learn about digital marketing. It can be anything. Just keep working on improving your skills, improving on what can I contribute to the business? I keep thinking on that. So at least I have that working for me. So during my virtual assistant time, that 6 months, I learned a lot of stuff which I didn't even know when I started. Because initially when he offered me to help out, he said, I want you to help in building websites, writing emails, SEO, running Facebook ads, Google ads. Half the things which I mentioned, I didn't know how to do in 2018. But during that 6 months, I worked anywhere from 12 to 18 hours a day. Yeah, it's true. You're going to be prepared to make some sacrifices if you got off the wrong path. So yeah, the correction period is very stressful, but if you want to avoid that, then start on the right path in the earlier stage in your life. That will be much better. So the first stage you'll be in is going to be you're just going to trade your time for the opportunity to learn. If you focus on trading your time for money that early on in your career, yes, you will make a few extra bucks compared to your other friends or your relatives or your peers, but in your 30s and 40s, you find your options getting less and less. Because besides your time, you have nothing much to offer them. But if you go for skills, you can go to the next step. Once you have a skill which is very monetizable, now you can talk about being a freelancer. Because let's face it, not many people are just going to hire you as a virtual assistant if you are not that young. Chances are, if you're not that young, you have more commitments, you need to spend more time with your family and stuff like that. Your family requires more time from you, demands more time from you. So if you are in your 30s and you want to start out as a virtual assistant, I think it's going to be a more challenge. You need to put up with more hardship and struggles to go to the next phase where you are a freelancer. Now, the freelancer, people don't just pay you for time, they pay you for your skill. In other words, if you are very good at the task, you don't need to spend that much time. Because here, we start to talk about getting paid for your skill, getting paid for results. It's not so much on how much time I spend for this project. In fact, if you can spend very little time and deliver huge results to other people, that's a good thing. So working hard it's no longer the most important thing when you reach this stage. Okay, I certainly do not work hard at this stage. In fact, most of my time is not spent doing. Most of my time is spent thinking, planning, creating systems, teaching other people, communicating. It's less on hands-on doing stuff. Okay. In fact, now I'm like a freelance coach, consultant. So now people actually pay me to talk. If you tell me that, and I was 25 years old, I would never imagine that, because I've always been this introvert who just prefers not to talk. Let's put it that way. But in 2020, people actually pay me for my opinion, pay me for my knowledge. So yeah, in a way, I'm paid to talk now. Paid to listen, paid to talk, paid for my advice. Okay, so once you are a very successful freelancer, I've been told that once we reach a stage where we can generate 10,000 income, 10,000 US dollars, not in the currency, 10,000 US dollars a month, we can go to the next phase, which is to build a business, to have your own products, your own services, your own team. So why I do not put any time and skill here? Now, when you're building a business, it's assumed you're going to put in time and skill. But you're not really being paid for your time and skill. You are being paid for your results, the impact you can deliver to the marketplace. The good thing about business, business is scalable. That actually goes both ways. Means the profits are scalable if you know what you're doing, if you have the good business skills, the good marketing skills, the leadership skills, selling skills, closing skills, the people skills, all about that. it's not so much on the product if you are at the business phase. So if you have all of those in place, your business is going to be, the profits is going to be scalable. If you do not have all of those in place, you do not have those business, your losses are very scalable. And now I can tell you, my 24-year-old self, your losses were very scalable. Alright, it scales with the amount of money you borrow. It scales with the amount of time you put in. If you're bad at it, the more time you put in, the worse the outcome. Alright, so this is going to be the career advice. I'll just summarize. If you do not have the skill to pull off being a freelancer, you can forget about building your own product, building your own service, building your own business. Because a business requires a few skills, not just, you can get away being a successful freelancer if you just have one or two skills. But in business, you need many different skills. So I hope this is useful for anyone who is watching. So I'd like to hear from you. Comment below, what is your age and what phase are you stuck at? What are the things that, what are the mistakes that you are brave enough to admit at this phase in life? Now trust me, the sooner you can admit your mistakes, the sooner you will learn from it, the sooner you have a chance to bounce back. Because if you were like me in my 20s, I just refused to admit that this business is not going anywhere. I wasted a lot of time. I got into more debt. The hole I dig for myself is just getting deeper. So comment below and share with us, share with me the decisions that you were not so proud of. It's okay, it's YouTube, nobody's going to laugh at you. Alright, so I'll see you during the next coffee time.